What is your name?
George.
It's a phenomenal film and made all the more extraordinary by how you have made something so familiar feel completely new. Can you tell me about finding your unique perspective on this period?
Well, it wasn't that difficult in a way, because what I was interested in that period, and I was interested in this boy on a platform with an oversized coat, extra large suitcase, and a cap. And I just asked myself, what this black child, what's your story? Where'd you go? Where are you going? And it opened up the kind of Pandora's box of London and the Blitz and what was going on that time. And, doing the research was just incredible, because once you open one door, then the other, I was like, my God, all these things which I didn't know anything about. So this is my city, which I grew up in. I thought I knew, and I had no idea. So it became this adventure. It became almost like a fantastic sort of, it became almost like not necessarily a historical picture, but almost like a fantasy picture, because it's a reality, but which I didn't know about, which was much more interesting than I could ever imagine. And it was just great. It was giving so much.
It was. I mean, it challenged so many perceptions. We weren't Blitz ready, for instance.
Can I use that?
Sorry?
Can I use that?
Of course. Yeah, thank you. But it was so, I loved it from the opening scene, that was clear. You've got these humans fumbling around in this disaster zone, and we're so used to seeing everyone so competent, and the firemen so competent with their equipment, and thinking that the underground is open, and thinking that everything was running smoothly in a way. But
interesting enough for me, we're not just fighting the enemy, Nazis. We're fighting ourselves. And I think that's the running theme through the whole film. Through one way, socially, politically, and in so many ways. And I think that's what happens in war. It's messy. It's not just one thing that happens. It's not a. I didn't want to make some sort of advertisement for the Blitz. I didn't want to make that kind of movie. I wanted to make a movie which was about us, but also I wanted to make a movie about 1940, but also a movie about 2024 and how it reflects where we've been, how far we've come, and how far we need to go.
My mum sent me away.
She did it to keep you safe.
Your son did not arrive at his destination.
I felt like with Occupied City, for instance, you're bringing the then into the now, and with this film, you're sort of taking the now back to the then. Does that make sense? So I felt a visceral connection with both these projects about war to now.
Yeah, absolutely, because, listen, I feel that these narratives was demanding a platform, because they were the truth. We now know that, in sort of cowboys and Indians, that the Native Americans aren't necessarily the bad guys. There needs to be a sort of re-examining of our history, not because for anything else other than sort of understanding of where we are now. And it's very important. I don't know. And again, it's just very interesting in the way that how we perceive things and actually how things actually are. It's important.
It's really important, and it kind of makes me angry that we haven't been told the truth. But then movies weren't necessarily about telling the truth, and it's
often about propaganda, as you know right now. But again, listen. Again, I feel that what's so wonderful about this whole thing is that we, civilian citizens, how we fought for a better situation. Again, if it's sort of opening up the underground, we fought for that. That was not meant to happen. The public got together and forced their way into the underground, and saved a lot of lives. So it just shows you what we could do when we come together as a community.
100%. And also you would never normally see a character like Mickey Davis, and I loved how you introduced these people so incidentally, so it's not with fanfare, it's in the middle of a blitz, and this man, through his sheer will, is where he is.
He's getting on with his job, and again, I never knew who Mickey Davis was until my research. I had no idea, and I don't know how I didn't know who Mickey Davis was. I mean, he's one of the architects of the National Health Service. I mean, you know, there was an American journalist who came to his, shelter and said, you know, this is the first time he's seen actual democracy at work, was in Mickey's shelter. And what a guy, you know.
This is for all the parents whose children have been evacuated, and for my boy, George.
One of my favourite bits in the film was the simple tenderness between George and his granddad. Mm-hmm. Tell me about creating this really pivotal, sweetly understated relationship.
Well, it happened naturally. I mean, I know, it's like Saoirse, for example, who plays Rita, George's mother, Elliott, the actor. They came together because Saoirse started acting when she was 9 years old, and Elliott was 9 years old. So there was immediate bond there. There was, you know, she took him under her wing, and you know, Elliott, you know, sort of reciprocated that with a certain kind of love for her, and there was a beautiful understanding. And then when Paul came into the equation, you know, there was a wonderful situation where they just got on. They loved playing together. So you had a 66-year-old man, his 29-year-old woman, and this 9-year-old child, and they just loved being with each other. They loved hanging out with each other. They loved playing with each other. So for me, it was easy. I just had to say action. That was it. It was real love. There was real connection there.
For me, that's the strength of the film.
Yeah, I think it's kind of rare because, you know, there was real respect. I mean, you know, there was no authority in that relationship. There was just respect because the 66-year-old guy, Paul, as I said, you know, all the different ages. At the same time, there was a real respect. It wasn't an authority or superiority situation because of age. It was pretty cool.
Mm. And also, you've used Paul Weller and Benjamin Clementine. You've gone out of the acting pool to look for these who knew would be perfect.
Yeah,
people.
And there's Kwesi Johnson too. So he was in it too. So yeah, it was one of those things where, listen, they're artists, so they have this innate quality that they want to communicate. All those three, and I thought they could work on screen, and thank goodness they did.
And Saoirse made a point of saying how much she enjoyed how collaborative you are as a director. Can you tell me about working with her to bring Rita to life?
Well, you know, sometimes people have better ideas than you, you know, and I'm not at all. Again, it's being a director isn't about being on you know, wagging your finger or, you know, being an authority or shouting or whatever. It's actually having an idea of how things could be, as it were. You can sense things, and okay, this thing is coming in. Okay, bring that in. You know, it's how you move within your crew and your surroundings. Often brings out the best in them. So there is a certain sense of understanding and sort of, you know, how people become the best of themselves in a situation is when you give them autonomy. And it's very important that you can respect people and listen, because, you know, it's great when you listen, because, you know, I'll take a good idea from anyone.
Steve, it's so important to see Blitz at the cinema, and I wonder if you could tell our audience why they have to see it at the cinema.
Well, this movie was made for the big screen. There's no if, but, or maybe. It's a British epic. This isn't Passage to India. This isn't Out of Africa. This is Blitz. This is a movie which is a rarity in a way. It's a British, you know, epic. And the only place for me to see it, for you to see this, is a cinema, because what it is, you know, when the screen is bigger than you, it can embrace you, it engulfs you, you're immersed in it. And it's a quality you could never have from a flat screen TV or a laptop or a phone, obviously not. And, you know, it's about being lost in the world for 2 hours, and then you go out into the world and hopefully sort of unravel it.
Thank you for watching Picturehouse Cinema's unique video content. Hit the subscribe button to be kept up to date with our movie news, cast and crew interviews, highlights, trailers, and lots more.